So welcome back to another video. This week we are on KR exhaust cams. What do you want to do a KR exhaust cam for? Well, if you Google it, you will be drowned in gobbledygook in a way. There's some sense out there, but people are very up on cam timing, as in once the cams are timed with a vernier pulley, you adjust it, trying to get it the best way. Don't need to do that just yet. To get the most power out of this simple modification, all you want to do at the moment is get the cam in there and lined up as stock timing. Once it's at stock timing, then you can have a vernier pulley and then start cam timing. Now, I'm going to show you a very simple way to do it. You don't need to go into a million things of changing 6 1/4 teeth or certain degrees. It's so simple, you can do it easily. Now, why are we doing it? So, exhaust cam, inlet cam, pretty simple. Now, the exhaust cam is a 10.2mm maximum valve lift, 226 degrees at 1mm. So that means it lifts the valve off its seat 1mm for 226 degrees. Obviously, it opens the valve, gets to 1mm, then sort of normal cycle. Now, the inlet one is 218 degrees duration, so it's a lot less duration, and it's 9.6mm lift, so it's less lift. So what's the benefit? So literally we're putting an exhaust cam in place of the inlet cam, which will give us an extra 8 degrees duration at 1mm of lift, which is a lot, and an extra 0.6mm of maximum valve lift. That's a lot. Now, the exhaust cam, the KR, is just slightly shy of the ABF exhaust cam. So there's a couple of options. Now, I like this modification because it is absolute minimum cost for massive outlay. So with an exhaust cam in here, so twin exhaust cam mod, for an equivalent off-the-shelf high lift cams, same sort of spec, you may have more lift but not enough duration. A duration is what you sort of want on a road car because the valve's open for longer to get more air in and more air out. So with off the spec cams about exhaust sort of size, you're looking 500 quid easily to the door sort of thing. Whether a used set of cams, 80 to 100 quid off eBay. If you're handy with your tools, a hacksaw, if you've got a bearing press and a file, you're there. So let's get into it and I'll show you what needs to be done. So first up we have our inlet cam and our exhaust cam. Now you notice the exhaust cam is the one with the pulley on it. So this is another exhaust cam of a KR. First thing we need to do, cut the end of it off. Literally cut it off. So you've got an end sort of like that. We'll clean it off with a file once we've finalised everything. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can get a grinder on it. You can get a bench saw on it, but in my opinion the best way to do it is hacksaw it through. Now, why am I saying that? Because reasons. Camshafts get really hot, yes, but it's an even spread of heat from the engine to absorb all in one thing. If you get a grinder on that, grinders make a lot of heat very quickly and pinpointed. So what you're doing by grinding it off, you're introducing heat stress into this part of the cam, which you don't really want. Same again with pressing these off. And these are an interference fit, as we'll see in a bit. Interference means they interfere with each other when they go on, so it's a tight fit. Now, some people say you can heat these up loads and press them off easier, but as you'll see, they don't take a lot to come off in a press. Again, if you're getting a blowtorch on there, you're introducing more heat stress in an area you don't want it there. People may have done that in the past and it works, but from my experience from the day job and metal work over the years and stuff, these are very brittle. If I drop it on the floor, it will snap in half, no problem. I don't want to do that. But yes, to eliminate any risk of heat stress, because if a cam goes wrong inside there at 7,000 RPM, all that is going to be a mess. So it takes like 5 minutes, hacksaw, whop that off there. Simple. So what's the first port of call? Now the first port of call is getting the original cams timed exactly. Now we know we have a pulley on here which goes on the cam. Look all the way down there, right down the end, and you'll have 2 blue dots. Those blue dots line up with head surface. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see a bit more in a minute. So those two dots there, now they line up with the cylinder head. So this part of the cylinder head here, when you look down, all down here, those blue dots are going to be semicircled across that line. What do I mean by that? I'll put a picture up as well. So, yeah. So you want those circles halfway across that line. Now that is the cams timed. That's timed exactly how they want to be on the factory. So that's what we want to do first. So we get to that point and then we move on. And also to note, once those dots are lined up, these lobes here and here are at 45-degree angle to each other. Now you can do that by measuring. These studs are all exactly the same parts, exactly the same height, so you can measure by putting a ruler, if I can find me a ruler, just another way to make sure it is bang on. So you could put, for example, a ruler across the stud to the point where the lobes are closest, take a measurement from the top of here to the bottom of there with a vernier, and getting a feeler gauge between the lobes and the ruler, and doing the same on this side. And they should be exactly 45 degrees, hence that line from the lobe centre up. Now let's go to the other side and see what the issue is. So now we want to take the inlet cam off because we're happy they're timed. That's where we want it, and we can move that around when we need it. Now this needs to come out. Pretty simple. Now I haven't got any, what they're called, I ain't got any cam followers in there because it just makes it easier getting everything timed up than fighting against the valves. So once we've got that inlet out, we then, which one is it? That one there. Sorry, doing two of these at once. So this is our exhaust cam, which is now going to an inlet cam. So we'll just jiggle that round. There we go. We're in. So that moves nicely. Now what we'll do is put the lobes so they line up. I'm just going to do it by eye because I know where things are. And this is just a demonstration of the issue we have. So lobes are 45 degrees. Let's have a look at the timing mark. So if we have a cursory glance down at the end of the cylinder head, look at the blue dots. So our exhaust cam, actual exhaust cam, is timed up. However, the actual timing mark is miles off. Now, the way I do this is I want those timing marks back where they should be. So for future reference, someone else does a tam bout. What is a tam bout? A timing bout and a timing chain. They need to be able to time that up simply. So they can go, yep, dots are lined up, chain on, done. So, how are we going to do that? Well, we need to make a mark on this. So I'll turn the head round and I'll show you the simplest way ever to make a mark so we'll know where we are. So the way we mark that, so we know where the timing mark needs to be. Get the timing mark right. Once we press it off, it will become clear. So 45 degree timing marks there. We want that, so we need to literally use a cylinder head as your marking tool, get a little scribe or something, and you want to, if you just see down in there, this part of the cam, like the thrust part where it sits in between the gallery in here. Now don't do anything with this face because you don't want to scratch it, but that is what you want to do, is make a mark. So literally just get your pointer, scratcher, push it inside, do that a few times. You will see it quite clearly once we get the cam off. I can see it there, so that's fine. Right, now we've done that, let's take the cam out and see what mark we've made. So like I said, we'll pop the cam out and see what mark we have. So let me lift it out, and then this will zoom in. So this is the cam. If you can see that little scratch there, is it going to zoom in? Right, you just see it there. That's the mark we've made. Now that mark is where the timer mark needs to be. Now we need to press this off. So let's go over to our press bench. So here we are on a simple bearing press, not an expensive thing. This is a Goodrich 6-ton shop press. Not really Goodrich, that's just a sticker off stock on it. So simple as that. We've got it mounted there. Again, we want to gently cold press it off because we don't want to introduce any excess stress on the cam. So I'm not going to put a lot of force in this, you don't need it. Just wiggle that a bit more, just so on there. Again, the cam is sat on a flat point. Obviously, this cam gear is machined steel and these are cast, so that's stronger than the cam is. There we go, we're taking up pressure. There you go. Broken itself now, not the cam, it's just broken its thing. Once you've got the harder thing, you can see it now. I'm putting minimal force on that. There you go, we're out. There we go. There we go. That's the cam pressed out of its gear. Now let's go back to the bench and I'll show you what we need to do next. So this is what we're dealing with next. Now we've got a cam gear. Now, some of you might have gone, oh, hold on, which way around it goes? If you look at it carefully, you're looking around this space, there's no witness marks on that. Turn it around, see a witness mark. That witness mark goes against the cam. So where it's been pressed on the cam all those years, that witness mark from the gear is from this bit here, so that's where it needs to go. And again, we've also got our cutout. So that's a cutout we need to recut, and I'll show you how simple it is. So this is how we do it. I'll try not to say it's really simple anymore because I've said it enough times. Anyway, so this is our cam, and if you remember our little line we made, which is just there, that is where we want the centre of the blue dot to be. Now again, make sure this is the right way around, which it is. So what we want to do, put this on there and line up the blue dot with our little line. So I'll try and get it to zoom in so you can see what I'm seeing. Now I can just see the line, which is in line with that dot now. So I'll just actually look at what I'm doing, not through the camera screen. That's the dot. Right, so that, you get the idea what we're doing here. So that's why we want the cam gear. Now we've got an issue of our cutout. So how do we know where we need to put it? Again, I'll show you another helpful tip. So get a pen, do some colouring. So let's get this lined up again. Bear with, where's the dot, where's the line? Where you gone? I would put blue on it, but it's a very small scratch. And I need to be as accurate as I can, because in my mind, my eyes, I'm running a laser line from that line through the blue circle. It doesn't make exact at the moment, so anyway, right, we've got that there. Now, what you're going to do a dot just there to there. It's become apparent in a minute, so there's your dot. What you're going to do, colour that in, don't go out the lines. Now give that a few minutes to dry. So our blue paint has dried and we've got our scratchy thing, so you might have an idea what we're doing now. So let's get that. Where's our line? Our she blows. Now this is where you want to hold it with something. My hands. So you'll have to bear with because I've got to try and hold this at the right point. We are at there. Again, I'm looking at the cam, not through the camera, so that's probably why it looks all squibbly wibbly. Right, so that is lined up there. That's where we want. Now you can see where our paint is. So get your little pointer. Just run it down the side there. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Again, down the side there. Scratch, scratch, scratch. What I've then done is zoom, focus even. There you go. See, that's put 2 little scratches in there. And if you measure that and that, that is the same distance. So what we're going to do is get your file. You can get this machine done, or if you're quite handy with a file and patient, you want to file that gap there the same as that. So I'm not going to bore you while I'm doing that. So here we are in a minute with it done. So we're back and we now have 2 notches. One, not going to zoom in, is it? Keep saying zoom in, focusing. So that's an original one there, that's the other one here. That's what we want. Now again, if you're filing this, the shiny bit, simpler way to say it, once you get through that, it's easier to file. And now I've just used a mixture of simple hand file, because that is actually the same width as the old one. And then this big one, because it's got a good edge on it to get sharp points to get a nice square corner. Now what we've got to do is press that on the cam. So now what we need to do is press it on the cam. So we've had to rejig our press because we need to push it down. So make sure the cam gear is on the right way and in the right position. So take your time doing this, because all you're going to do rushing it is do something wrong. Again, we need to be gentle because we don't want to push too much force on something we don't want to. Right. Right, so as you can see, that is now pressing on minimal ease. Our pin's where we want it. So we've got the cam gear pressed back on. Obviously that's the time mark we've got now. That's the blue bit where the gear's gone on. And you can see there are 2 cutouts. Obviously that's the one we just made. So moment of truth. Let's plop it in. Gently as she goes. Right, so let's line that up. Make sure that one's there first. So that is bang on there. And that is bang on there. So there you go. Time marks now line up, and the cams are at 45 degrees to each other, and we just double check with our ruler. You can do that measurement if you want, so we know. The time marks down there are up, the lobes at 45 degrees to each other, so if it comes to a time bout on the timing chain again, just go off the time marks. Simple as that. And we have our Bucksy high lift cam. So that is that really. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and it gives you an eyesight of what you can do without spending a lot of money. Like I say, cams is very cheap. That hasn't taken a lot of work. I've shown you the simplest way to do it possible. Just take your time, get it spot on, and then enjoy the extra power. How much is it going to give? Who knows? You're going to feel it? Most likely. It's going to pull stronger, normally top end. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Any questions, like normal, stick them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. It will hopefully be CISE Inside Truth. As you can see from over there, I've already got one cut apart. Just got to finish it off, paint some lines so we can all see what happens with the fuel in those upside down units. Cheers for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.